I'm 21 and have 2-week-old twin girls. My sister is 28 and has had 14 miscarriages, not counting 2 babies born super early that didn't make it. She gets pregnant pretty easily, but she usually loses the babies within the first trimester. She lost one in second trimester and made it to the third trimester 3 times. One resulted in my 4-year-old niece that she has now, and the other 2 babies the doctors refused to save. I'm not against having kids, but I definitely wanted to wait until I graduated with my degree and was married to my significant other. From the start, my no mom says I should give my babies to my sister since she deserves it more than I do. No sister, who was never really an no before this incident, completely agrees. I tell them hell no, and no mom calls me a selfish bee. I go low contact with the both of them, and all throughout my pregnancy, my sister is texting me, begging me to give just one baby up, since I have one to spare, of course. I ignore all of her messages. The last time I saw her was when I was about 23 weeks pregnant, and we went out to lunch. She started blabbing about keeping my babies again, so I paid for my meal and left, and went no contact. I don't use Facebook much, but a couple of days ago I logged on to look through my significant other's photos to find his baby photos. He looks so much like our daughters. Well, I got about 100 threatening messages from family and friends about how I stole my sister's babies and ruined her life. I'm confused as hell and looking through my sister's page, and she has a ducking nursery for my babies. I find a bunch of posts about how generous I am for going through the pregnancy and giving my sister the babies. I don't know if people think they're biologically hers and I was a surrogate, or if I'm just giving her my kids, but the crazy bee told everyone I was giving her the babies. She has my pictures of them in the NICU, saying how she can't wait to bring them home. I can't even wrap my mind around this. She even changed their names, and these posts go back months. She seriously needs therapy. Anyway, if she tries to go near me or my kids, I'm getting a restraining order. This is ridiculous. Good news, bad news, and drama. Yay! So far, here is a list about what's been going on since I posted 3 days ago. We're getting married. Although it is not how I imagined, I'll still be married to the man I love. We're in the process of getting our marriage license and will be married soon so that we can establish paternity with the babies, so he has rights to them. Emergency restraining order. My lawyer contacted a judge and we got this as soon as possible. We have a hearing date for a more permanent order, but it's in 3 weeks and the emergency order only lasts 5 days. Once the 5 days approaches, we will be requesting a temporary restraining order ex parte to last until our hearing. At our hearing, we will be getting a domestic violence restraining order, and I will be requesting that this be permanent. I actually cried a little because this means I won't be able to see my younger siblings and niece again. I hope this is worth it because I was always a big part of their lives. We're setting up a will with our lawyers to designate who the babies will go to if something ever happened to us. Mostly to make sure they would never go to my mother or sister. Paper trail. I went crazy and documented absolutely everything. I have it on my phone, computer, tablet, Google Drive, a hard drive just in case. I'm paranoid. I have the baby's birth certificates in a safe place. I reported the pictures and messages on Facebook. I filled out some form and so far nothing has happened. My lawyer helped me write out a post clearing up all of the accusations, and I posted it yesterday. I got a bunch of replies immediately, but I logged out because I don't feel like dealing with it quite yet. Once the pictures of my babies get deleted from my sister's page, I will be deleting my Facebook for good. I reported my sister to CPS. I highly doubt anything will come of this, but I'm doing it out of love for my niece. I'll probably update on this in 3 weeks after our hearing. We are now living in an undisclosed location and have delayed moving across the country until after our hearing. This really sucks because I absolutely loved our house. I spent hours upon hours painting the baby nursery, and all of my hard work will be for nothing. I went to the store yesterday to get some needed items. It was the longest I've been away since the babies were born. I swear to God this woman is following me because my mother was there too, and the grocery store is way out of the way of her house. She didn't even pretend like she was buying anything. She just came up to me and started cussing me out, saying she deserves to see her grandbabies and how I'm a horrible mother and I am going to hell for getting a restraining order against her. I stayed calm even when she pushed me a couple of times. Anyway, she wouldn't leave, so the store manager actually called the cops after I did, and she got arrested. So at least she will be gone for a few days at most. I haven't heard from no sister at all, which scares me. I'm worrying myself sick just waiting for her to strike. Good news though, the babies had their doctor's appointment a few days ago and they're doing great for preemies. I had them at 32 weeks and they were in the hospital for a whole week before they got to come home. Other than having a hard time latching, they're doing awesome and I couldn't be more proud. I'm disappointed. I really thought my next post would be in a few weeks about how the restraining order got approved. Well, it's not. We decided to move back home. They somehow knew what hotel we were staying at, and they gave a letter to the lady at the front office to give to me. I shredded it and flushed it down the toilet before I could read it. My husband, so excited to call him that now, had a little encounter with no sister in the parking lot a few days ago. She was blocking the way to his car door, so he pushed her out of the way. She is now trying to file a claim against him for assault and battery. Can she do that when she violated a restraining order? Saying that he punched her in the stomach repeatedly and caused miscarriage number 15. I never believed her, but once he told me, I talked to my lawyer who was talking to the owner of the hotel to try to use the parking lot security footage to his defense. As if that drama wasn't enough. We're sick of hiding and running, sick of being victims, so that's why we moved back home. We were looking into security cameras and literally bought them the same day our dogs mysteriously came up dead. The vet thinks they were poisoned. I'm not even sure what to do anymore. I am absolutely miserable and lost. My husband has joint custody of his son and can't leave out of state like I really want to. We're debating on me just taking the babies and leaving for a while because it's the best thing we can do for now. I'm going to hate being without him, but I need to protect my babies. Sorry that there isn't any good news. I feel bad for not having anything good to contribute. So far, not much has happened other than the incident last night. Someone smashed my car window and stole my husband's lunch bag. They left the GPS. They literally broke my window to steal some ducking trash. These are some horrible thieves. I called the police 3 hours ago and they haven't shown up yet. Literally, as I type this, a police officer knocks on my door. This police officer happened to know about our situation and doesn't think this had anything to do with my mom or sister. But I'm staying on guard regardless, because I find it weird that I haven't heard from them at all. We all know how a restraining order means nothing to them. Anyway, we got a new dog. 2 to be exact. One is an ex-police dog, and the other one is a trained guard dog. He's the sweetest thing, but is already extremely defensive over his people. About a week ago, I was in the backyard watching the dogs do their business. I never let them out there alone. And some kid jumped over the wall into our backyard. I was just telling my husband earlier that day that I think we got the wrong dog because he seems too sweet to be a guard dog, and he goes and attacks the boy. I got him off before he could do any damage, just scrapes from trying to jump back on the wall and missing, and helped him back to his house. I took pictures of his leg just in case he tried to sue me or something. Literally not a single bite on him, no blood. He actually got yelled at by his parents because this isn't the first time I've told him to stop using our backyard as a shortcut instead of walking around to the other side of the block. And I'm rambling. So the restraining order went through. The girls are almost 7 weeks, and I'm still not relaxed yet. But I'm starting to feel better. I'm still on the wall about going to the media. My husband is totally against it, and I agree with people in the comments about not wanting to give them leverage. I can't remember what else I wanted to write, but when I remember it, I'll edit the post. My niece is back with her mom again. I had to break my no contact and the restraining order. Is it even possible for me to break the restraining order? To deliver my niece's stuff to her house. I have a key to her house and purposely went at a time I knew she would not be there, and she ended up showing up. By the way, I checked their spare bedroom and it no longer has cribs for my daughters and names on the wall that she came up with. There is a crib and clothes, but they're all gender neutral. My sister ran to me and hugged me and apologized and said she loved me and missed me. She also begged me to get rid of the restraining order so that her new baby, Oh yeah, she's pregnant again, can be in her niece's lives. I didn't want to piss her off or push her over the edge, so I calmly explained to her how badly she's hurt me and my family, and that I will never forgive her or give her another chance to hurt us again, and that we want nothing to do with her. She started hysterically crying, and I started to feel bad. Then I remembered all of the nights she caused me not to sleep because I was terrified. So I gave her key back and walked out. My dad dropped her daughter off a little while earlier. The babies are doing great. They're doing great for preemies and smile so much, although I'm pretty sure it's still just a reflex. We will be leaving for our 2-week getaway in Hawaii, and I am terrified of taking the girls on a plane. I'm thinking about making little bags with earplugs and candy or something for the passengers we're sure to annoy. When we get back, we will be moving out of state, meaning I will lose my scholarship and internship, but it's for the best, and hopefully never have to deal with these ridiculous people again. We had an absolutely amazing trip to Hawaii with 0 complications. I could finally relax and not be stressed out about everything. It couldn't have been more perfect. I graduated college. I started back a few weeks after having my babies. Thankfully, they have a daycare where I could easily drop them off for a few hours and take my finals. I double majored in biology and anatomy and minored in fine arts, photography. It's a lot, I know. I almost dropped out. I am just extremely proud of myself and happy that I will finally be able to do what I love. Next is vet school. Our newest dilemma is with one of the babies. Recently, I noticed that she would stop breathing in her sleep for about 30 seconds and gasp for air when she starts breathing again. She started turning blue, and I freaked out and started giving her CPR while simultaneously screaming at my husband to call 911. After going to the doctor and having lots of tests done, she was diagnosed with sleep apnea, is on medication, and we now have an EKG machine at our home to monitor her breathing and heart. We are hoping that she will be off of it in a few weeks, if not months. I am once again in panic mode and never let either of them out of my sight. It seems that every time we take 3 steps forward, we take 5 steps back. Thankfully, I haven't heard from my sister at all. Maybe she finally came to her senses and respect that I don't want her in our lives. Unlikely. I do keep track of her on Facebook to see how my niece is doing, and she is still pregnant, and it looks like this baby might just stay. She usually never makes it this far in her pregnancies. My mother, on the other hand, broke the restraining order once again to harass me about how I didn't visit her while she was in the hospital, and that she is on the donor list for a kidney, and I should get tested to see if we're compatible. I ignored her and her messages and didn't even bother humoring her. We're moving out of state soon, and I have a whole year until I start med school, so I am going to spend every bit of it with my husband and my babies. In a few days, the girls will be 10 months old. Both girls are happy and healthy and mastering walking. They may be identical, but they have such different personalities, and we are so in love with them. I haven't seen or heard from my sister, but according to Facebook and Instagram, she had her baby super early. He's fighting for his life in the NICU, and even if he makes it, they're not sure what kind of life he'll live. At first, she only put pictures of him up, so I reverse image searched them and nothing came up. Luckily, she put pictures up of the 2 of them, which reassured me that she wasn't stealing someone else's pictures. I don't fully believe she's better, but even if she did a 180, I still would not let her into mine or my children's lives, and that is final. The only time I see my niece is through whatever pictures she posts, and that makes me sad. But when she's older, I'll try to pursue a relationship with her if she doesn't resent me. My girls don't need my sister or mother. They have a darn good grandfather, and he has an awesome wife who loves all of us like we're her own. We moved across the country and have a beautiful home. When the girls were 6 months old, we started infant self-rescue survival swimming. Even though our pool has a gate, I'm still paranoid that they'll drown. This is practice in case of falling into the pool. While clothed in everyday clothes, they have learned how to turn onto their backs and float after being fully submerged into the pool. When they're a little older, they will learn how to swim to the edge of the pool and how to turn on their backs when they're tired and need a break. This is a bit controversial, but I feel it's better to be safe than sorry. All in all, things are going great. I'm happy and I feel like I can breathe. I'm so excited to plan the girls' first birthday party.